When I stitch the sides, I find it easier to start on the right side. And I line up the one hole. Usually I have something for that, but my stuff keeps getting moved around and it doesn't get in the right spot again until I actually clean up. Cleaning up is the thing I dislike the most about this job, actually. So, let me see here. This is going to go into right there, like so. So, that should be it right there. I like to start at the top and go down, because if your project's going to come loose, it's going to come loose at the top. Okay. Let's see. Make sure that I got the right holes. I'm going to actually count them just to make sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. So this right here is the hole I'm going into, and it's going to match up with this one right here. Now I'm going to go ahead and clamp this so that I don't lose my place. Like so. Clamp that in place, and I may as well clamp this one too while I'm at it. Okay. The back side is the one I'm worried about. That right there is the hole that I have to go into. And that should put it even. If that goes into the right hole, like that, I screwed up. Count it again just to make sure. Make sure. That's the hole right there. I'm going to actually mark it just so that I remember. So this hole is going to fit right into that one, right there. And then the pouch will be like this. Okay. First thing I need to do is to thread my needle. And roll out some thread for it. Lots of fun.
Don't do that.
go. Threaded the needle. I'm going to start on the right side here. And I'm going to actually start about 3 holes back, about right here. Actually, that's 4 holes back. The reason why I'm going to do that is because if it's going to break or come apart, as I said before, it's going to come apart at these 2 points here. So I'm going to double loop the first 4 holes just for the sake of safety. This is why the round needles are nice, so that I can push through and I can fill the needle. And not, pull tight. Go through the next set. Now I'm going through a little bit more because I've already double looped the back side, so it doesn't come undone. There you go. And then one more right here. And then this will go through here. Oh, I split the thread. It happens. So that's double loop now, nice and strong. And then I will try to get the needle in my fingers. Push back through.
Right there. You guys never do what you know.
When you have this many iterations of the thread, it's possible that you'll split a thread, but there's nothing evil about that I know of. Let's make sure I'm in the right hole. Yeah. Really easy to get into the wrong hole when you're doing this. There you go. It won't become real easy on this part of the job until I get through all the double loop section. Oop, I just went through the wrong hole right there. So, there you go. Push through, and I can feel it with my fingers so I know it's going through. Again, that's why I don't do sharp needles. And I just split the thread, but I couldn't help it because of the number of threads that have gone through that hole already. So there's the first 4. Actually, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 holes right now. I'm almost through the double loop section now. And then the threading will get a lot easier. There you go. Now I'm just stitching regular. No double loops. I just split the thread. Really easy to split the thread. If you're not careful, when you split the thread like that, it can cause problems with it. The thread, it can damage the integrity of the thread, and then, it starts to fray if you're not careful. I split the thread again. Okay, I'm nearing the end here. And let's see if I did it right. Because you'll find out when you get to the end if you did it right. It's funny but true. And you'll see here, I didn't. I have an extra hole that I don't have on the other side. So, this is the cheese way of fixing this. Take an awl. And I'm going to punch a hole. So it looks like it was intentional. There we go. I double loop back 2 holes. Tighten it up like so. And then I cut it. And then I fry it. And I always try to do this at the back. Tie off the loose ends at the back so it's not as noticeable. So that's one side done, as you can see. I haven't finished the edge yet, but that'll be the next thing I do after I'm done stitching this. And hopefully I get the hole right this time. La da 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 da. It's approaching lunchtime. Might actually get this done before lunch. That's good. Almost dropped it on the ground, and then I ended up unraveling the thread. Not good. If something can go wrong, it will. You know, the way that handmade projects look, some of these guys on their videos make their handmade stuff look really nice. It looks like you can buy it in a store. It's absolutely beautiful. That, to be perfectly honest with you, I have to admit, does not look like you'd buy it in a store. The way it's puckered and everything. And if I'm being honest, it's really hard to hand stitch soft leather and not have it look like that. It puckers up. That's part of what the soft leather effect is. The only way not to do that is to use a machine, in my opinion. Now, maybe there's an expert on here somewhere that knows how to do the soft leather stitching without it puckering and without having the same problem. Maybe using, you know, the perforated holes versus the punched holes. I don't know. That's the thing about being an amateur. There's a lot of stuff I don't know. But, you know, oh, this is something that happens sometimes. Sometimes when you're doing this, it gets snagged and you can't pull it through. but that one went through. It actually did, so that's fine. Okay, now I'm going to start this one, and I have it set for this hole here, but I'm going to push it through the hole this time, and I'm going to count to make sure that it's in the right hole. See, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. So this one's actually in the right hole this time. It's good. And unfortunately, I screwed up because I meant to go back here and start at the back like I did the other one. That's how I screwed up the other one, is I went back 3 holes and it didn't get in the right one, which is very easy to do. So I'm double looping back as I did on the other side, 3 holes, just to ensure that I get a nice strong edge. Because I've tried to rivet these points with soft leather, and soft leather just does not rivet well. It doesn't hold like you'd want it to, because there's so much give in it that what happens is it'll just pull over the button eventually. Okay, there we go. Oh, it looks like I did get it right. I think. I won't know until I get to the very end, and I realize, oh, there's an extra hole. Okay. I got the looped back. Now I'm going back the other way towards the bottom. So it's really hard not to split the thread when you have 3 or 4 thread loops going through the same hole. But it really does add strength to do that. It's worth it. Splitting the thread, the primary problem occurs when you're trying to pull on it like this. You pull the thread apart when you do that, if you've split the thread. If you pull too hard on soft leather, it just puckers up. So I'm pulling a little bit too hard, I think. Because that puckered look does not look good. When you punch these holes, you hope for uniformity. Sometimes you just don't get it. Like right there, it just does not look very uniform. And that's partly because of the way that the soft leather works. It just sometimes puckers and you can't help it. Nothing you can do about it that I know of. And I've watched a lot of videos, and even some of the experts I've seen have had a hard time. It's kind of funny. I remember one time I was over at another guy's shop here in town, a guy that does a lot of leather working, and he primarily does repairs, saddles, that kind of stuff. And he's not really much for doing this kind of work. I mean, even this, he wouldn't have the finished edge quite like this is, and this is very simple. He's not an artist, is what it boils down to. And some gal, thinking, he's a leather worker, that she comes in and asks him to make her a purse, because she had a really nice handmade leather, like coin type purse. I don't know what you'd call it. I really don't know the different types of purses. And, because hers was worn and turning bad. So, well, I can get you something. Sure, no problem. Key point there, he says, I can get you some. He didn't say I can make you some. So, he takes her money. I forget what he charges her, and he gets on there onto Amazon or eBay and just buys something that's already made. You know, he's not going to reinvent the wheel. He just wants to get something that he can sell her and make a little profit. And it's a lot of work trying to do something handmade, even something as simple as this, let alone a purse with 4 or 5 pockets, with snaps and everything else. And, I mean, it makes sense. So he buys this thing, and buying stuff, leather products on Amazon or eBay, there's a lot of stuff that says genuine cowhide that isn't. Like one little section of it's genuine, the rest of it's PU. I call it PU leather, as in it stinks like a skunk. Didn't think anything of it though. He gets it and she pays for it, and it's not even 2 or 3 months. And that's when I was there. I was there when she came back and said, "This thing's peeling." I didn't know leather could peel like that. What? Yeah, the leather is peeling off. Well, that doesn't make any... And that's when he realized that the product that he bought that he thought was genuine leather was PU. She was PO'd about the PU. And she just went on a rant. Wanted her money back, everything else. Can't say I blame her. She paid for genuine leather product and got PU. So, needless to say, I felt bad for the guy. Because I've done it myself. I bought this chair that was supposedly made out of genuine leather. And, oh yeah, the sales lady, oh yeah, this is genuine leather. You better believe it is. Of course it is, right? You're sure? You're sure? Oh yeah, it is. And you can always bring it back and blah blah blah, and right? Okay, so I buy it, take it home, right out of the warranty. We're talking like 6 months or whatever. It started to peel. Literally started to peel, and I'm just kicking myself. It's not real leather, obviously, or it wouldn't be peeling like that. Couldn't take it back. I already, used it for 2 or 3 years, and it was out of warranty. There you go. It's a very basic pouch. I could try to finish it a little bit. The nice thing about soft leather is just really easy to button. So just a little bit off. You can see how it's kind of cockeyed, and that's because one side, the holes are wrong. I forget what side it was. This side. I'm 1 hole up. It should have been 1 hole down. But eventually it'll wear evenly. I don't know if you can see it. It dips a little bit. But there you go. There's a basic Zeiss leather package. If I can figure out where all the stuff that goes into it, I can show it to you. There we go. So now I take my Zeiss leather stuff, and I see if I've accomplished what I had set out to do. I put my little lens cleaning cloth in there, and I now have a Zeiss lens cleaning kit. It's not done though. I do need to finish that edge a little bit. It doesn't look great. Doing leather projects like this, and when you want to do leather stuff, it's always a good idea to start with stuff that you really need or want. I mean, there's a motivation there. I'm going to try to bevel this. I honestly don't know if this will bevel, but I'm going to try to do it because it's soft leather, and I've had really bad luck trying to bevel soft leather because it just has too much give. See, that doesn't want to cut on the edge. just gives too much. Try the other side. That one did a little bit better. Okay. I don't glue this kind of stuff just because kind of a pain to glue something and then find out that you didn't match the holes or do something right, and then the glue's already set and it's turned your project into a goopy mess. Okay. So now I've beveled the edge a little bit. You zoom out. This edge is a little bit beveled, not a ton. Looks like I need to trim a little bit on one side. And you can see here, whoever did the initial dye job didn't finish it perfectly. There's a little bit of residual whiteness from it. I have to fix that first. Parchment paper is your friend. Although I'm not really going to do parchment paper this time. I'm just going to find my black dye here. Can always tell the black dye, generally. It's the darkest one. I've got some parchment paper over here already set up, so I'll do it right there. I'm going to flip it, the camera, so you can see my belly. No, zoom out a little bit. We move it down in here a little bit more. There we go. Okay, guess what I'm going to be using? My favorite thing, although I'm not really going to do it. First I'm going to burnish it. Try to anyway. See if I can get this to work. You can't burnish with this stuff if you have to dye it as well, because that will just seal it and then you won't be able to burn the edge properly with the acrylic finisher. And I'm not going to use a finisher on this anyway, so there's no point in finishing the edge if I'm not going to finish the project, because I like the look of this. So, my Q-tip. First things first though, I'm going to burnish the edge, at least try to, with a sponge. I'm going to get a little wetter than I did last time. Hopefully that'll improve it. I'm going to actually burnish with this one here, which is a little bit bigger, as you can see, for the opening. Move this up a little bit so you can see it. There we go. There we go. Kind of hard to see it because it's black. It's actually doing it. Let me show you. You can see it has that sort of shiny edge now on both sides. That's from the burnishing. So it actually did it. I'm going to see if I can burnish this other part here. Okay, so that side's burnished. Now I'm going to wet this side and try to burnish this edge. That edge burnished decently, actually. This one did okay. Not great, but okay. Still have a little bit of white there, so that I'm going to have to dye to cap it off. You cannot open these caps without getting dye all over your fingers. It's the one flaw with doing these caps. Taking a Q-tip just before to finish off the edge here, nice and black. The control you have with a Q-tip is just amazing compared to the rest. I'm gonna just nice black edge right there, like so. Really finishes it up. Do the other side. See that? It gives it a nice strong black edge. Toss this one and do another one, because I'm going to do all along the edge, get it nice and black along the edge. It'll be slightly noticeable. Sorry. Okay. It is now finished. I just have to let that dye dry, and this project is now finished. Hello everyone, this completes the end of the first tutorial on the Zenz lens cleaning case made out of soft black cowhide leather. Now this, I know it doesn't look like much, but this is simple and it's achievable. For someone who wants to start out and just do something very simple that's functional, this is a good approach. It's about 3.5 hours of work, and with the pattern that I've created, you can literally do this with a couple of leather needles, some wax thread, an awl, a lighter to burn the threading, and of course the hardware, some buttons, which all of this can be purchased at Walmart, literally. And that's the challenge of setting to the task of doing a leather project, is deciding whether or not you want to create something functional or something aesthetically pleasing, and trying to find a balance between the two. Doing something like this, where you're just stitching leather together and all that, doesn't require a lot of skill set. It's a simple matter of punching holes and stitching and punching buttons in place. Design is a whole different animal, which I hope to show you in the next series of videos. The tutorial for doing a version of this that's more aesthetically pleasing is to show how to take a simple pattern and actually do something more design centric. And you'll see the amount of time it takes to do a design phase, to do something more custom to your liking. It's going to take a project that would take 3.5 hours and literally take that up to 12 to 15 to 20 hours of time. Just the design phase alone adds a tremendous amount of depth to that. Now, you may be able to benefit from some of the videos that show you how to do something that they've come up with, and you might be able to reproduce it. You might not be able to. It's hard to say. But if you want to do something completely yours or unique to your own idea, that takes time. Anyway, feel free to watch the next series of videos, and you decide whether you want to do something aesthetically pleasing but functional, or just something functional. Thank you very much.